Hello, welcome to our Heritage Works. Today we're going to make crab Rangoon Casserole. It is gluten-free, diabetic friendly, low oxalates, and of course it's also frugal. This recipe is fairly easy. It's divided into multiple groupings. The first is the filling, the second is the egg noodles themselves, the third is the sauce, and then finally the toppings. The first thing that we'll need to do is get the water on to boil so that we can prepare the egg noodles. While the water is coming up to boil, we're going to set out all of our ingredients and let them start coming to room temperature. We will also peel our garlic and chop it into a very fine mince. We will also need to prepare our green spring onions as well for this recipe. For the filling, we will use 16 ounces of cream cheese, and this will be softened and at room temperature. We will also have crab meat. You can use real crab meat. I am using the imitation crab meat, which works just great. Then we will have garlic that's been minced, which we already prepared. We'll also have Worcestershire sauce and our green onions that we have already prepared. Along with the noodles, that completes our filling. For the sauce, we will be using flour, some butter, and some milk. For the topping, we will be using Parmesan cheese, butter that's been softened, and some panko breadcrumbs. As a note, the flour and the breadcrumbs are both gluten-free. If you do not have to follow a gluten-free diet, you can certainly use regular flour and regular panko breadcrumbs, but because I need to be gluten-free, we have chosen to use the gluten-free versions of these products. You can preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You should also lightly grease your casserole dish that you'll be using. I'm using a 9x13 pan, and I just sprayed it down and then I'm wiping it around just to make sure I've got a nice thin even coat. This is only there to help keep the casserole from sticking when I'm done. You will want to prepare your egg noodles according to the instructions on the package. This is the only brand that I have found that is gluten-free. To make the filling, you're going to combine all of your ingredients for the filling with the exception of the crab and the noodles. You may feel like this is never going to come together, but keep at it, it will come together. I also am limiting my salt intake, and there's plenty of salt in the Worcestershire sauce. But if you wanted to add a little bit of salt, like a pinch or maybe even up to a quarter teaspoon, you could certainly add that at this point. You can add in your crab meat and stir it in gently so not to break up the crab too much. At this point, your egg noodles should be done and prepared, but I'm not going to add them yet. I want to make the sauce first and add the sauce and the noodles at the same time. So for your noodles, set them aside and you'll use them in a little bit. And as soon as this is stirred in really well, let's make the sauce. We're going to make a very simple white sauce. We're going to add the butter to a pot and we're going to stir it around until it's melted. At that point, we're going to add the flour and then we're going to stir it around until it forms a paste, and we're going to let it brown up just a little bit as a paste. Once it starts to get all together, we're going to slowly add the milk, and we want to stop every time that it starts to thin out so it has a chance to thicken up. And we will want to do this until it comes to just very light, thick boil. Now that our sauce is ready, we can take our noodles, and if they've started to clump together a little bit, just dunk them back into the water that you cooked them in to loosen them up, and then drain them thoroughly. We'll add them to the filling mixture. We'll then add in the sauce, stir it all up, and make sure that it's well combined. Now we're going to pour it into our prepared casserole dish and put it in the oven for 30 minutes. While the casserole is in the oven, we can go ahead and make our topping. We do this by combining the Parmesan cheese and the panko breadcrumbs to get them just combined together. Then we're going to add the butter that is semi-melted. I set it on the stove where the heat from the oven comes out so that it would start to melt as it was warming up the oven. And this way, when I pour it in, it'll combine nice and easily versus trying to combine hard, stiff butter. You want it to be very soft, liquidy, and ready to go. Once the casserole has finished baking, we will pull it out of the oven, sprinkle on our topping, and then we're going to put it back into the oven on broil for just a few minutes, just enough time to have that topping come to a nice crisp. Allow your casserole to cool for about 10 minutes or so to allow it to really set. And then you can use a sharp knife and cut it into pieces. This should make about 12 pieces. I wanted to thank everyone for watching this video, and please like, subscribe, share with others. It helps the algorithm send people our way so that more people can enjoy these videos. You can also find us on Patreon and on Instagram. We look forward to seeing you there as well. And I hope that you make this recipe. Let us know if you try this and what you think of it. Leave a comment below if you've tried it. Let us know if there's any other recipes you'd like us to try.